And so again, today we're talking about how to manage information, social media, manipulations, and fake news. Here we see Pope Francis shocks the world, endorsing Donald Trump to be president. Ha ha ha. Fake. There are a lot of stories out there like this. Like this, Trump aims to remove the First Amendment from the Constitution. Also fake. Or another person investigating the Clintons turns up dead. Basically, it's a story that's not saying anything completely wrong, but they're making it look like the Clintons are killers, which is defamation. And in East Asia, it is illegal to say things that, whether it's fake or true, if it makes anybody look a little bit bad, that's illegal in East Asia, especially in Korea. So be careful of that. This story obviously is fake. Here's another one. Russian scientists discover a cure for homosexuality and coronavirus. It is coronavirus time, but there is no cure yet. We have some treatments for it. This is still fake news. So what is fake news? These are stories that look real, but they're hoaxes, propaganda, fake, lies, cheating, disinformation. Fake news typically appears on websites trying to look professional. The stories often relate to topics and people who are trending on Google and Facebook, like Donald Trump. Stories usually have outrageous headlines to attract a lot of attention, because sometimes if you just get something trending, you could get rich. Don't forget, being in Korea, Gangnam Style went from nobody knew of him to very quickly, within almost hours, he had billions of people following him. So that could change your life. So why spread fake news? I've already talked about one way. It's big money, and sometimes these stories are created to attract an audience, and the advertising the advertising revenues that come along with it. Sometimes the stories are simply to promote something or to make something look bad. And so the idea of fake news has been in the media a lot recently, related to Russia or Putin, related to Trump and the elections. Fake. It's not a new thing. There's always been a problem with verifying information. This is from many, many, many years ago, when they were talking during the war as far as bombs and submarines and things like that. So its start exploded generally in 1999. Hopefully you guys are aware that in 1999, at the end, in the middle of that year and the end of that year, a lot of the world, especially the intelligent companies and people, started to panic. Why? Because it went from 1999 to 2000. And at that time, most computers were recording details only with 2 digits. And so that meant it would go from 99 to 00, and a lot of people were afraid that their computer files would be deleted. And so since computers and the internet was still relatively new, we had that known as the Y2K bug that people were worried about. And they started to store a lot of files online and store a lot of files on their computers. The internet started to explode with growth of information. So that is why. Crazy growth of big data. All of that information about online information, anything you type on your computer or on your phone, or just simply walking around with your phone or your credit cards, GPS will track that, and that will be recorded into the cloud. So what is it? Big data is unprecedented growth of social media information, device data, equipment data, corporate data. It's crazy growth. Noise and potential. You have potential if you have a strategy. Otherwise, you'll get lost in the noise. Big data is good because it provides instant access to data. And with instant insight, you can be agile and act on these emerging trends and become much more successful. Engage with customers. Provide what customers want. if you know about that, for example, Donald Trump in 2016, he knew that he was going to be competing against Hillary Clinton. And so while he was almost unknown, Hillary Clinton was famous because her husband was president, Bill Clinton. And so he was worried she was going to win just because more people knew about her. So he hired companies to research what people in United States liked, what they were watching on Facebook and social media, and then he created a lot of advertising to convince people to hate the opponent and like him. And a lot of people say, whether it's true or not, that's why Trump won the election at that time. There's three main functions of big data. Big data can give significant insights on the consumer behavior to spot trends and details. You can offer better value to customers, and you can hone or develop your business or personal strategy to get your goals faster. Some of the studies on fake news get pretty interesting. Like this shows Bush was supported by aliens, and this shows also Bill Clinton was supported by aliens. I'm surprised we haven't heard stories about that recently, because now we have Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk actually going to where the aliens may be. So tabloid journalism. There's a growing problem in recent years. The idea is that news is no longer monopolized by legacy media or newspapers, TVs, and radio. Everybody has access to information at their fingertips anytime they want, especially the millennials and the newer generations. Anyone can start a blog and claim to be a journalist. You should start publishing your class reports. Most fake news comes from websites. Don't try to be fake, try to be better, good quality. Usually, less librarians are around, and they traditionally taught research skills, so that is one reason for it. Media literacy is no longer taught at many schools. People are gullible, otherwise known as stupid, especially me. 13 years of high school and regular school and 17 years of university after that, and I still need to learn a lot. And so if I can be convinced of things easily online, many other people can also be. So having presidential crazy elections also leads to the growth in fake news. So the consequences, why should we care? Fake news sometimes gets more views than real news. Sometimes politicians and professionals, journalists, they even quote fake news to the news stories. Sometimes people engage in illegal and violent behavior as a result of believing in fake news story. So how can you spot fake news? You should start by determining where the information comes from. And for classes and academics, or for generally anybody in the world, there is a chart, as you can see, that I have created. This shows the most reliable information versus the lowest level of reliable information. And so the best in the world is generally expert, peer-reviewed information before it's published. And that would be like the Web of Science, social science cited journals for business, SSCI, or Scopus journals. This information, for example, Academy of Management has many great journals that are very highly respected and very reliable and good, trusted information. Journal of Marketing, Strategic Journal, Strategic Management Journal. All of these journals very, very highly respected, highly reliable, definitely trusted, because all of these show exactly where they get the information, how they got the information, and you should be able to verify it yourself. Then we get down into things that you can't easily verify, like Forbes or Fortune or Harvard Business Review. These are international, but they don't show the references. Then we get into The Economist or Time Magazine or gossip magazines. Be careful. Usually they will be telling just half of the story, whatever's the sexy story. And then we get into even companies, governments, even universities. They're not going to say a lot of their bad underwear or dirty laundry out to public. They're usually just promoting the good things to attract who they want, attract students, attract customers, attract new voters. And then you get down into the newspapers that are only promoting what's a hot topic that day, usually same thing like blogs or Facebook. Those are the lowest level of reliable information, but they're new. So rely on both um, ends of the spectrum. I'll rely on everything, but know that while the bottom here is up to date and some people are saying it and talking about it, what is actually factual and true sometimes takes longer because experts need to review it.